Hey there, coffee break with Ricky and Richard.
Hello!
God damn, we made it. The first season was a solo project, only me talking to you guys, to the camera. But you know, that the reason why I was talking to a camera was because I was always imagining Richard being on the other side. Because I always talk so many hours with Richard about music, about what's happening right now, about what we're doing, and so on. And now for season 2, Richard will always be here. So give a round of
Hello,
your
my friend.
biggest noise to Richard White.
Whoop, whoop. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you.
And we got some coffee.
Yes!
So it's a legitimate
It's a
Coffee break.
Coffee break. I don't know if it's actually kind of sad,
Cheers.
Ricky,
Yeah.
if you're monetizing your coffee breaks as well. We must make money!
No, fuck that. No, but if you haven't seen season 1, you can check it out on YouTube. It's just me ranting about certain topics, and I might redo certain topics with Richard because, you know, people minds, they change, I change, and yeah. But today is the first episode. This is season 2, episode 1, and I think to start it off, Richard, tell the people out there how we've met, because we've met 10-ish
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Fucks yeah.
Well, as far as I remember, Ricky, and my memory is sometimes a bit shady, but it was at a gaming gathering, basically, because you were still working there at that time
Yes.
for Nintendo of
Right.
Switzerland.
Yeah.
And an acquaintance of ours, he went to, I'm not sure actually, was it one of those gaming meetings or
Yeah. Or maybe
conventions? Sorry,
maybe
conventions.
his birthday. I don't remember.
Oh, his birthday. Anyhow, he invited all the best Smash players of
Yeah.
Switzerland and myself and the captain. So yeah, I got there and I thought, wow, you know, in my village, I was once under the top 5 from probably about, I don't know, 30 people living there.
Yeah.
I could play some Smash.
Yeah.
I'll show these guys. And I had to play against Ricky.
Yeah, I remember.
I do remember quite vividly. I took, of course, the best character, Luigi,
Luigi.
and he took Sheik. I mean, I knew I had it in the
Yeah.
bag.
Yeah, at that time I played Cheek, right? Yeah.
But I think at the end, I didn't hit you once, Ricky. I was out pretty fast.
Yeah.
So he humbled my arse quite well there. And then, yeah, hanging out with the captain, friend of ours.
Also a great musician. Yeah.
Yeah, the ukulele man.
Yeah.
Out on the balcony there,
Mhm.
playing music because we had the ukuleles with us.
Mhm.
And of course, Ricky, being a musician himself, thought, wait a minute. So yeah, we had some really good talks out there on
Yeah.
the balcony.
Yeah. A lot of beer,
A lot of beer, yes.
talking, and jam sessions.
Yes.
Yeah, we were like the event next to the main event, but ours was like, to me, it was more precious. Looking back, because gaming is gaming, of course, but we really had a blast together, I think. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it was great because at one point I brought like a little mini amp with me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know you were you made music, and then you said, "Oh, you got a guitar with you and a man.
Yeah.
Hand it over," you know.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Holy hell, this man can play!" Yeah, it was great. Yeah, we had good talks, and
And do you remember what was our first project together? Because I figure after this jam session on the balcony, we just figured, yeah, we have kind of the same vibe. We are doing totally different music, but we like to talk to each other. And what was our first project together as Leroy Brown and Richard White?
I believe.
I think you
I'm
can
a
come
bit too
closer.
off, yeah,
Yeah.
Well, get in the picture.
Yeah.
Well, I think the first thing we did together must have been a small concert in, what is it called? Densburen.
Densburen.
Deichburen.
True.
And I don't actually know how you got that gig, to be honest. I think you managed most of all the organization aspects, but you said, "Hey, Richie,
Yeah.
you want to play a few songs with me.
Yeah.
You let me play one of mine. I played with you.
Yeah, I remember we had a great deal with it was like 3 songs together, 3 songs on our own, I think, or maybe 5 together.
That
something
sounds about
like
right.
that.
That sounds about right. Yeah, you started off with some Queen. I remember.
Yeah.
That was great.
And then we played a few together, and then because I remember the very punk-ish song. God damn it, I don't remember the name. But
which artist do you remember?
It will get around. No, it was one of your originals.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe something like Pussycats.
Was it Suicide Kitty?
Yeah, Suicide Kitty. Yeah,
we got to blur that one.
I remember very. Good. Yeah.
It was based on a friend of mine driving me home from band practice at one point, and a cat ran right in front of us. It was like, "Whoa,
shit,
Suicide Kitty!" And that was that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was good. That was great.
And what I remember, to be quite honest with you, I don't really remember a lot of the first gig, but I remember a lot of the next project that we had, which was a cover version of Queen's "It's Late."
That's right. Yeah.
And it's such a shame that you can't really watch it right now, because we had to delete it due to some different opinions of the location's owner. But it's all right. It was a blast with you doing that shit. And like always, when we would do something together, or even if we wouldn't do something together, we would still talk from time to time. We would still meet each other, maybe very spontaneous, or we didn't know that I was there, and
just happened to work out. Yeah,
we would meet at the bar and we would just talk. Yeah, and that's the reason why I created the Coffee Break with Ricky, because I really think that talking about music as a musician to other musicians is a very important thing to do, because most non-musicians, I think, they just get the idea of, doing music means you just play and that's it. But there's so much more going on, right?
There is a lot. Yeah, there is a lot going on. I mean, you had quite the journey yourself, Ricky. You managed to make it something that you can rely upon financially, and that takes a lot.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I mean, we talk about bullshit. Also.
Yeah,
it's not only the highest elite thinking of music. It's sometimes just like, this is trash, or I don't like that. Let's talk about why and everything. But yeah, I mean, 10-ish years. What changed with you, Richard? Because when how should I put this? The first idea that I got from you, what kind of music you're doing and such, it was all with different stories layered around even more different stories. So the first impact I think that I had was just that you are a musician with a lot of with a big thought process of how to write lyrics and so on. And at that time I only knew you as a guitar player. So what changed since the first time we've met?
Quite a bit, actually, Ricky, because of course I was in a band for a while. The first band I had was, I guess with friends. Then Ugly Kittens was the next band, and then the Shanes.
The Shanes,
and I think that was probably around about the time we met, when it was mostly the Shanes. We split up, sadly, but I did learn a lot about juggling people's desires, needs, and everything, because it's quite a thing. Also, not letting my own desires be kind of pushed aside. There's also a big learning curve. I don't know if I've mastered it or anything like that. I don't know if you can.
We never know.
I learned a lot.
Shit.
But that went apart, and now I'm just trying to make music on my own, recording in my room. But it's been great. Because then you can really let out this creativeness that's builds up from time to time. It's kind of like therapy, isn't it? Writing a song is sort
sounds
of like
therapy. Yeah.
You did mention lyrics, by the way, Ricky.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always tried. I guess I do like old country folk. You know,
Yeah.
Johnny
course.
Cash. He
Yeah.
always tell a story.
Yeah.
I always loved that. I also always loved Pink Floyd, of course. The
Mm.
Wall
Yeah.
tells a complete story. So I
Yeah.
always wanted to take like topics, feelings, whatever it is,
Yeah.
but not just say I feel happy. Yeah. But you know, try and get that into a story,
Right.
something to follow. Yeah.
But that has changed, or you stick to your guts with that, or
I did try to write like a concept album, but I
Yeah.
realized that I'm not there yet at the moment. I'm not
Right.
there at the skill level
yeah,
to record that all by myself, and
yeah,
so now it's more like pocket stories.
right,
But the goal is to have like a complete story
right,
that I can tell through just an album. Yeah.
yeah, and so what you're saying is nothing really changed,
Yeah, pretty
because
much.
that was the question, you know.
Pretty much, yeah.
You changed maybe in your working ethics or just with working with other musicians, but the idea of music, how you think you want to make music, like I said, with those different lyrics, and like you say now with the different concepts, that sounds like the Richard from 10 years ago. So nothing changed. All right. That's
Still
good.
the same old bugger.
Yeah, sometimes you don't need to change.
Yeah, I guess to a certain extent, the ideas, because you said why, or the thought process behind making music, why I make music. I kind of had to let go of certain ideas because music was always kind of, I mean, this sounds very high and mighty, but it always was kind of like a religion for me.
Yeah,
That makes sense, because you had like the idol, your idols, your gods,
the goddesses,
you had the promised land, get famous and rich, basically.
Paradise,
But of course, it's it's not always how it's made out to be. And the thing is, music in itself is an expression.
True.
And I'm trying to forget all about, these grand ideas, and focus just more on the music itself. Make it sound good. Don't get stuck on ideas that don't necessarily help.
Which I guess is a very healthy change in your perspective of how to make music. So I think you've been through a good change.
That was important. What about you, Ricky? What has changed within these 10 years?
Yeah, well, sadly, I don't work for Nintendo anymore.
That's one thing, yeah.
When I didn't even think about that. But yeah, I don't work for Nintendo anymore, which is great, but not always great. If I see something coming up like Nintendo Switch 2, I'm like, fuck.
You could have fixed it, Ricky.
Fuck. But yeah, I changed enormously when it comes to how to make music, because at that time I like to tell a lot of stories, and at that time how should I put this, I took my time. So if I had a story that was about 7 minutes long, I wouldn't think about maybe trimming it or something. I was like, it's 7 minutes, motherfucker, listen to everything. And now I'm like, let's forget that and let's make it a bit smaller, which to a certain extent is like a complete lie, because I like to endorse myself as bombast musician. So there are no small things in my music, but I really had to make a compromise, because I think if you want to be a current musician, you have those 3 pillars of auto-tune, simple chord structures, and
drum machines.
And drum machines, yeah. And I just figured I get rid of auto-tune, but I will use the other 2. So my progressions became very simple, not simple, but easier to the ears, I guess, for the modern listener. And yeah, the drum machine, I fell in love with the drum machine, and that truly is, I think, my biggest change, because I think when I met you, we were always talking about analog music and just the raw feeling and such, and I think if we could go back in time and talk to each other, I think myself would hate me for doing what I do now. Like, I wouldn't believe myself. Like, hey, see you in 10 years. You're working with drum machines, motherfucker. What?
Oh yeah.
What?
Yep.
So I think that's the biggest thing that changed.
That's a big yeah.
But it's kind of comforting to see that we both have not the exact, but we do have the same idea of music when it comes to telling stories, right?
Yeah.
And I think it really takes some balls or ovaries to stay to that philosophy. And I think we both haven't really changed when it comes to telling a story.
Yeah.
So,
I think we both, it's something important for us.
Yeah, and I think it's a positive thing to look back and say, okay, I changed a bit. You've been through a lot of shit with bands, and you've just learned how to interact with other human beings in a band, which is not a simple feat. It's not easy. But that we stay true to our songwriting process, I think that says a lot.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not all bad. Like maybe I sound like a complete hermit now, but you do learn a lot when you work with others.
Yeah.
But going back to the lyrics, telling a story, I think it's also something that is. Well, I mean, you've had many concerts, right, Ricky? And you know as well that you could just stand up there and go blah 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 blah, and people
nobody
would be
cares.
like, yeah. So the lyrics are something dear to our heart, but it's often only a few people who would actually pick up on it, and those people,
True.
bless their souls.
Yeah, bless them. And bless you for watching, because I think we need to stop it right now.
Oh, all right.
Because I think this is it, our first episode,
the introduction to the new season.
Now you've met Richard White, the reason why I like to talk to cameras and pretend that somebody's listening.
The camera's of course much more prettier.
So, like I said, this is the new concept. Richard is always here. It's from now on, it's Coffee Break with Ricky and Richard. And we hope to see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, Richard, for being here.
Thank you for having me, Ricky. And
No
thanks
problem.
for watching, guys. Yeah. See ya.
See ya.